I can eat some candy. Nigga, this shit ain't healthy. Nigga, hold your text.
You got Mr. Nightmare on the goddamn Thursday, man. We got 3, 4, 5 Tinder dates and tragedy. Obviously y'all fuck with Mr. Ballin podcast, so I'm gonna start reacting more Mr. Ballin podcast, and it went from yellow to green one time, so you don't feel me. The red mean you don't get no revenue. Yellow mean you share revenue. Green mean all the revenue is yours of your video. So that shit turned from yellow to green. So I'm most definitely finna start. I was kind of hesitant, but I was still gonna leave it up here. But yeah, go ahead and get that video started.
On August 7th, 2014, Warina Wright and Gable Tosti matched on Tinder. Gable wasn't her usual type, looking like a man who spends way too much time on his appearance, but he reminded her of Sam Winchester, a character in Supernatural, one of her favorite TV shows. Gable opened with a raunchy and aggressively forward message, saying, "You look delicious, I want to do dirty things to you," to which Warina responds, "Does that usually work?" Gable then sends, "Can you be a freak in the sheets?" To which she says, "Probably not, depends." Gable says, "What does it depend on?" Warina responds, "What I've had to drink, LOL. Gable keeps the conversation sexual by replying, "Let's get drunk together. I'm a porn star after a few drinks."
What the fuck?
Warina gives Gable her number after the two exchange a few
You a freak ass little nigga, man.
messages. And a week later, they meet for the first time in the Cavill Mall. They spent the night together heavily drinking, and CCTV footage from multiple establishments showed them meeting, walking into a nearby beer garden, then purchasing a 6-pack of beer at a nearby bottle shop. And after their night out together, they ended up returning to the Avalon Apartments, where Gable lived alone on the 14th floor.
Damn.
6 images taken by Gable that night show the couple apparently laughing and smiling in the apartment and on the balcony from which Warina would plunge to her death only hours later. For whatever reason, Gable recorded the audio of his entire night with Warina, which included the entire confrontation the two would have towards the end of the night, which was later played during Gable's trial. It was later found out that Gable had a weird habit of recording his entire dates with multiple women. At some point after the two had sex, Warina can be heard becoming increasingly erratic and aggressive towards him. However, as the night progresses, Gable can be heard in the recording refusing to let her leave, and Warina's terrified screams to let her go home are silenced when he locks her outside on the balcony. During this recording, Gable can allegedly be heard choking out Warina before locking her outside.
Call them with what? I thought you lost your phone.
Exactly.
So how are you going to call anyone without your phone?
You stole my fucking phone.
I didn't touch your goddamn phone.
You guys fucking stole my shit.
Shit, I should
So that's
never...
why I'm fucking calling you.
should have never given you so much drink. I thought we were going to have fun.
Well, where's my shit?
Where's your
Where is
phone?
my shit?
What's your phone number?
You're
I'll
a
have it.
100 fucking psycho bitch.
Called him a psycho and a bitch is crazy.
I don't deserve this shit, alright? I'm a nice fucking guy.
Yeah. Nice fucking girl. Lovely.
Must be on the balcony.
Oh, I have shitloads of money, guys. My fucking money.
Stop. Just calm down, please.
I'm not coming down.
You've had too much to drink, alright?
I'm
Just...
not coming down because I've had so much to drink and I have shitloads of money in New Zealand. It's not funny.
Let me hold some.
Shit.
Oh no, she dead no more.
You know?
Calm down,
Do
please.
you know how I feel? Because no one else has money.
Do you even remember what you were doing to me like half an hour ago? It was freaking me out. You beat me up for no reason.
Exactly.
Why?
Because you said no.
You thought it was funny or something?
In the audio, he can be heard saying to Warina that she was lucky he didn't throw her off the balcony, along with numerous other threats.
Let's go.
It's
Fucking
not
insane.
about how you need.
You're
It's
fucking-
not about how.
Yeah, it is. You're fucking insane.
Nah, his ass insane.
It's about how you. It's shit now.
See, I thought you were kidding, and I've taken enough. This is fucking bullshit. You're lucky I haven't tracked you off my fucking balcony, you goddamn psycho little bitch. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Damn.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, she ain't black.
What?
I think that's, of course.
Got something to say? Say it. Say it. Who the fuck do you think you are?
No!
Hmm?
No! No!
You're
No!
trying to kill me, huh?
No!
Why did you try to hit me with that? Huh?
Hey. God damn, now.
It's apparent that both Gable and Warina were very drunk, with Warina sounding a lot drunker than Gable, slurring all of her words. Warina apparently thought the only way to escape would be attempting to climb down the building, which resulted in her falling from the balcony to her death.
Damn.
Gable, who was 28 at the time, was arrested for her death, but was ultimately acquitted of all charges. The prosecution claimed that Gable locked Warina on his balcony following a heated argument, and when she tried to escape, presumably to a lower floor, she plummeted to her death. Gable's defense team said Warina was extremely intoxicated and that she had been acting irrationally before her tragic fall. Prosecutors argued that Gable had choked Warina, trapped her, and made her so afraid that she felt she had no choice but to escape at whatever cost. An audio recording of Gable's phone call with his father right after the incident was eventually released. And in it, Gable is heard telling his father that things had become violent between the pair and that he locked her on his balcony, but insisted that he did not push her.
Hello, Dad. I might have a bit of a situation. I met up with a girl for a date tonight, and she started getting really aggressive. Like, it was alright at first, and like, we, you know,
Probably
had sex
was.
in bed, and then after that, like, she kept drinking, and we were both drinking, and she.
Sound kind of
like,
sketchy to me though.
I think she thought it was like a
Why
joke
you
or something,
recording your
but
date
she
and
kept,
shit?
like, beating me up and whatever.
Why you recording your dates and shit? Who record
I've been
dates?
walking around and
I
there's
don't.
like a million cops around my building. I don't know what to do. I didn't push her or anything. I'm like just walking around the area and there's like a million cops around the area. It's really up. I don't know what to do. Like I'm walking around the area and I just see a million cops around Avalon. So this is really fucked up. Why does this keep happening to me? Like I swear to God, I didn't push her or anything. I just chucked her out on the balcony and shut the door because she was beating me up.
According to a downstairs neighbor, loud arguments with women could be heard quite often from Gable's apartment, hinting that this kind of thing was a regular occurrence with him. Many people do believe that Gable murdered Warina, and there was public outrage when Gable was acquitted. The process of going through a divorce is usually not a pleasant one, and emotions are often
with over 400 million global users. So, what will you do on Bigo?
Bigger
How
shit.
many subscriptions are you paying for? Rocket Money finds sneaky or forgotten subscriptions and
been very mixed. For some, a divorce can be a horrible time in one's life, full of grief and sorrow. But for others, it can be a hopeful time, a fresh start. For 39-year-old Jovi Pillipil, a nurse from Sydney, Australia, her recent divorce with ex-husband Alexander Villaluna was going to be a new beginning. Jovi posted on Facebook, "New Year, New Beginnings," accompanied by a smiling photo of herself. She had since posted on her Facebook of flowers sent by secret admirers and birthday cards and gifts from her 3 children, who called her the best mother there can be, and an independent mother and woman. In March 2016, Jovi was using Tinder to find a date. Jovi is the mother of 4. She grew up in the Philippines and then moved to Auckland, New Zealand to train to be a nurse, and then she and her family would eventually move to Sydney, Australia. While on Tinder, she matched 53-year-old businessman Keith Collins. Keith had 3 children and 4 stepchildren. The two enjoyed chatting and decided to meet for a date. On March 30th, 2016, they went to dinner at a Korean barbecue restaurant. Just as they were finishing up, a man came up and put his arm around Keith. It was Jovi's ex-husband, Alexander. He asked Keith what he was doing with his wife. Keith said they were just having dinner.
Yeah.
Then suddenly Alexander grabbed Keith by the neck with his left arm, and he used his right hand to stab him in the abdomen with a hunting knife. Jovi started screaming at him to stop, saying they were just having dinner. After stabbing Keith several times,
That nigga would have been dead.
Alexander turned his attention to his 35-year-old estranged wife. He stabbed her once in the chest and once again in the arm when she tried to defend herself. Keith had fallen to the floor and he was trying to get up. Alexander got on top of him and then using both hands, he punched the knife into his chest. He did this 5 more times. After stabbing Keith 11 times and his ex-wife twice, Alexander calmly walked out of the restaurant. Jovi began to run from the restaurant, and at first Alexander went after her, but he seemed to give up or change his mind and head back to the restaurant, where he sat by Keith's now dead body and waited for the police to arrive. He surrendered without putting up a fight to the arresting officer, and he admitted that he attacked Keith because he was having dinner with his ex-wife.
Sometimes you gotta think. They got that nigga ass. Handcuff the fuck up.
Jovi was taken to the hospital, and while she sustained injuries, she survived the attack. Alexander and Jovi had met 9 years earlier when they were both training to be a nurse in Auckland. They were both from the Philippines. Jovi claimed that Alexander was abusive from the start of their relationship. He wouldn't let her have friends and wouldn't let her leave the house often. Jovi already had 3 children from a previous relationship in 2011. She had 1 son with Alexander. 2 years before Keith was murdered, Jovi left Alexander and got a restraining order against him. In response to this, he told her that he would kill her if she ever started dating another man. But he also said at a later time he would spare her life because of their son. In September of 2017, Alexander pleaded guilty to murder. When given the chance to apologize, Alexander said it was difficult to say he was sorry because he was still angry about what happened to him. It also turned out that he told the probation and parole service that Jovi blamed herself for the problems in their relationship. So according to him, she would have been happy to have been killed by him. Alexander also claimed he attacked Keith in self-defense. However, CCTV footage clearly showed that he was the aggressor. The judge said the most heinous part was when he attacked Keith while he was already on the floor bleeding to death. In October of 2017, Alexander was sentenced to 40 years in prison, and he'd have to serve at least 30 years before he could apply for parole.
Damn.
He'll be able to apply for parole on March 30th, 2046, when he's 74 years old.
That's a long time. On
the morning of October 26, 2018, 21-year-old Grace Mullane drove from her Essex County home to Heathrow Airport in London, where she boarded her flight to Peru. She spent the next 10 days traveling from island to island before heading on her way to Auckland, New Zealand, where she would arrive on November 30th, 2 days before her 22nd birthday. Grace was staying at a hostel.
I know soon. I know next year, bro. Next year, I'm going to Jamaica, bro. I ain't gonna care. Like, I done seen some shit. I get, you know what I'm saying, good hotels and all that shit. You know, I get an Airbnb hotel and all that. I'm a goddamn vlog the whole time I'm in Jamaica. I'm gonna have fun. I get down there.
She made friends with some of the other tourists and backpackers. Grace was known for being a social butterfly. She spent the rest of the night on the 30th taking it relatively easy, and decided to start swiping on Tinder looking to meet someone, maybe make some local friends while she visited. She swiped until she connected with somebody named Jesse, and the two began to chat. Grace and Jesse made plans to go on a date the following day, and so on December 1st, 2018, Grace's bunkmates watched as Grace got ready and left the hostel to head to her date with Jesse. A few hours went by, and at some point in the evening, Grace sent a message to a friend back home stating that the date was going really well and she felt a connection with Jesse. However, it wasn't long after this message that Grace's phone and social media activity went silent.
Oh shit.
The next day was her birthday, and many of Grace's family and friends went on to send Grace happy birthday wishes, but she never replied to any of them. And as the days went on, everybody became increasingly concerned. And so on December 5th, 2018, Grace's family reported her missing to Auckland law enforcement. They clarified their concern by pointing out that Grace was actually carrying 2 cell phones while she traveled, just in case there was ever an issue with one of them, so that way she would still be able to stay in touch. Both of Grace's cell phones had been going directly to voicemail as of December 2nd. Grace's father traveled to New Zealand to do some searching of his own. CCTV footage caught Grace leaving her hostel at exactly 5:37 p.m. She then walked to a bar and casino known as Sky City, which was fairly close to her hostel, and she waited there for a few moments until she's seen meeting up with and hugging Jesse. The two of them then went into Sky City for approximately 90 minutes while they had some drinks together, and things appeared to be going really well and the two appeared to be hitting it off. They continued their date onto the next bar, known as Mexican Cafe. They had a few more drinks at the Mexican Cafe, and then they continued on again to another bar known as the Blue Stone Room. While at the Blue Stone Room, things appeared to become more intimate between the two.
I want to cut the video that way. I got it.
Where Jesse made a quick trip to the bathroom. This is the exact moment that Grace messaged her friend back home that she was having a really good time with her date. Jesse then returned, and the two eventually left the bar at 9:40 p.m. The two are seen holding hands and walking towards a building known as the City Life Hotel, where Jesse rented an apartment. The two can be seen entering the elevator of the building and exiting on the floor of Jesse's apartment. This is the last moment that Grace was seen alive. The next morning, on December 2nd, Jesse is then seen entering the elevator alone and exiting his apartment building. He's then seen purchasing a handful of cleaning supplies as well as a new large suitcase. He places the new purchases inside his apartment, and then he leaves the apartment again.
Hey, we seen this shit on that chapter, then we seen this shit somewhere before. Mr. Baller?
In a taxi and gets a ride to a local car rental facility where he rents a vehicle and heads to another bar in the area to meet up with a second Tinder date the day after murdering his previous Tinder date. This date became uncomfortable very quickly, and she decided to end things because she found him really creepy after he had been talking about the best places to hide a dead body. When the date was over, Jesse stopped by the front desk of his apartment building and asked if he could borrow a rug doctor, carpet steam cleaner.
What the fuck? You go out with a female and tell her the first thing you're gonna do. Hell yeah. I just like a female calling me talking, so I know where to hide the body at. Bitch, I don't wanna know that. Bitch, you ain't gonna kill me, bitch. Fuck type of goddamn Jeffrey Dahmer shit.
Machine. He brought it up to his apartment and spent a couple hours in there before appearing on camera again. He's then seen bringing a hotel luggage cart up to his room, and shortly after, reappearing in the elevator with the luggage cart loaded with his new suitcase and many other small suitcases. He then brings the luggage cart down to his rented vehicle and loads everything inside. The next morning at around 7 a.m. on December 3rd, Jesse then went to a nearby store and purchased a brand new shovel. He then returned to his apartment building just after 9 a.m. He then stopped by a random trash can and tossed out some items, and then drove to a dry cleaning service to clean some clothing, and then he took his car rental to be completely cleaned. Police caught up with Jesse a few days later and brought him in for questioning.
This nigga was being filmed the whole time.
Three signs the electrolytes.
Yeah, damn it.
Sugar, liquid IP, real hydrate.
And there's somewhere out there in London, bro. They got so many cameras out there, it's ridiculous. I might do another video on that. Hold on. Depending on how I feel.
The police believe that Jesse was involved in some way due to the substantial amount of evidence against him.
Tell us about Grace. So I was talking to Grace on Tinder. We matched on Friday. I saw that we'd matched the next day on Saturday.
How did the evening pan out? Yeah, pretty good. I didn't initially know that she was real.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of... So have you heard of catfish?
Oh.
So catfishing is where someone uses your profile or uses your photos and pretends to be you and then meets and you're a completely different person. And it's happened to a few people I know in Australia. It's all over the TV. So I thought, you know, if I meet at Sky City, at least I know that there's lots of people around. So if it is someone that it's not, then I can just walk away.
That motherfucker talking in circles.
There was a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and a thanks, no, nice meeting you. And then I said, let me know about tomorrow. And she said, okay, and then she kept walking.
We actually don't know if she's been murdered or not yet. She may be alive and well,
Okay.
but she might also be dead. Okay? And it could be that you've done it.
Hey, I just want to ask a question. Have I been arrested for something I didn't do?
You've been arrested.
Oh. Oh.
Your ass know that, nigga. Stop
They
running.
immediately obtained a search warrant for Jesse's apartment, and they began a forensic examination. Despite Jesse's cleaning attempts, the investigators were able to discover blood in and around the two edges of his apartment carpet using luminol. Jesse was then interviewed again on December 7th, just 2 days after his initial interview. And this was when his story to police began to change.
That nigga down, man.
Drove the car out to Cumu at first. I picked up a shovel from ITM at Cumu.
How you dumb and scared? Nigga over there crying and shit, man. That's a little bitch.
I went into the bush. I dug a hole. I went and got the suitcase. And I covered the hole.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my next video. This nigga crying. I don't wanna hear no grown ass man crying about no shit getting dead. How many years this nigga got?
Jesse was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years.
Bitch ass
During
nigga.
this time, 2 more victims came forward and accused Jesse of sexually assaulting them after matching with him on Tinder.
Oh shit.
In October of 2020, Jesse was convicted of 8 more charges related to these offenses.
God damn.
He was sentenced to serve an additional 11 years concurrently to the life sentence that he had already received.
Oh, he gone.
Jesse Kempson currently resides at the Auckland prison in New Zealand.
That nigga's
where he will
gone, bro.
remain.
That's where crazy ass need to be. Crazy ass dumb ass nigga. And I'm finna do another video. I ain't gonna do another video, but shit, it's 12 o'clock, I think. What time it is? Yeah, 12:26. I'm finna do another video. That being said, see y'all motherfuckers on this video, man. Let's ride. I'm finna start reacting to more Mr. Ballin podcast and Mr. Nightmare. I wish Mr. Nightmare had a podcast. And when I sat there and thought about it, the Mr. Ballin podcast really just like Mr. Nightmare goddamn story time like that. Without no, you know what I'm saying? Well, now he got pictures and shit, but you know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, Mr. Nightmare old video, when he just talking and telling the story and shit without a picture and shit. It's basically like that. So, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with that. And the story I reacted to yesterday, make sure y'all go check out that last video I just did. It was a crazy ass story too. That was one of the craziest story I ever heard of Mr. Nightmare. And Mr. Baller, now that I think about it. But that being said, see y'all motherfuckers on that video. Let's ride, nigga.